Welcome back to the Westmoreland Sports Network for our Recruiting Thursday feature, brought to you by Sendell Volkswagen in Greensburg. We would love to meet you. Jack Ridenour here with you, and today we are joined by current Greater Latrobe girls soccer player and recent Youngstown State women's soccer commit, Ava Yurko. Ava, first off, thanks so much for joining us today. Congratulations, obviously, on the very exciting commitment. How does this feel knowing where you'll be continuing both your athletic and academic careers after your time at Greater Latrobe?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's definitely a huge weight off of my shoulders, but I know that this isn't the end. It's only the beginning of the next part of my life. So I look forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, we'll definitely get into you are now another member of the Greater Latrobe team to be committing to the Division I level. So we'll definitely jump into that a little bit later. But want to just start with what led you to wanting to commit to YSU? What was it about the program, the school that drew you there?
So first of all, as soon as I got on the campus, it is absolutely beautiful there. They have amazing facilities. Academics are good. And then obviously the biggest thing for me was the coaches and the players. Like they just have such a great team culture there. And I knew as soon as I got there and spoke to them that it was definitely something that I wanted to be a part of.
What were the other schools that were in the mix with Youngstown State? I'm sure you probably had a lot of different schools calling you. I mean, what were some other, universities that were on your radar?
I had a few others. The biggest one was probably St. Bonaventure, but nothing really too serious. I knew Youngstown State was right for me.
What were some interesting, maybe things that you encountered in the recruiting journey that you might have not expected when you started on this?
It's definitely, it takes a long time to realize to not be nervous on the calls and everything, because obviously, like, it takes so long to realize that it's an exciting part of your life. Like, there's nothing to be nervous about. Obviously, if people were reaching out to you, it's because they want to talk to you and they want to get to know you. So that was definitely the biggest hurdle for me, was realizing that it's just a conversation. They're just trying to get to know you just as much as you're trying to get to know them.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a good point because I think when you see that school pop up on your email or pop up on your phone, you are all of a sudden like, whoa, where did that come from? So it definitely does take a little bit of time getting used to. But I mean, I'm sure that it was also a very special, moment for you being able to be another member of Greater Latrobe to commit to the Division I level. What does that say that you feel about not only the talent that your team has, but also the program and really the culture that's been built for the Wildcats?
Obviously, we face a lot of challenges with low numbers, but our team culture has not been one of those issues. It just, our bond translates to the field, and our goals as a team that we set at the beginning of the season. Every season during preseason, we have a meeting and talk about what we want to achieve for the season, not only personally, but also as a team. And we just have so much belief in ourselves and each other and as a team as a whole. And I feel like having such a great group of players, it really creates a competitive environment where everybody just wants to improve and play for each other. So I think that's really important to our success.
And it shows on the field. I mean, you guys definitely have great chemistry as a whole and as a group, and you can tell you guys enjoy playing with one another, which is such an important part to the success. And I know you guys had a very successful season as a whole, but for you, this was a very special season because you come back after missing a good bit of last year with your knee injury. How much did it mean to you to be back out on the field this season for a full year with your team?
It meant so much. It was really hard for me to miss out on my sophomore year, especially with losing those seniors that graduated. And it was just great to be back on the field with my teammates again, because it's just so hard to watch from the sidelines when you know that you want to be out on the field with your friends and your teammates so bad. So it was really great to get back out there.
What was the recovery process like for you? I mean, what was that journey like from the rehab and all that other stuff to eventually getting back on the field?
So I had my surgery in October, and that was the hardest part, is mentally just like learning to trust your knee again when you're getting back onto the field. I took the field for the first time in mid-April, and then I played my first full game in mid-May with my Riverhounds team. So it was definitely a challenge, not only physically, but definitely mentally. Mentally is the biggest part of it. And I just had such a great support group around me. I mean, between my family and my teammates, especially Coach Jamie and Coach Ross and my club coach, Scott Gibson. Like, they all really just pushed me through it and made sure to encourage me when I was feeling down.
What was that moment like for you coming back in your first game with your Riverhounds team and being out on the field and just realizing, wow, I'm playing soccer again after having, major knee surgery 6-7 months before?
It was just so surreal to me, like, because you sit on the bench for so long and you're watching from that different perspective, just to finally be out on the field and have everything like click in your brain again. It was just so great to get back out there.
Yeah, I'm sure probably big relief for you knowing that you can get back out there, play with your teammates and whatnot. But I want to stick with the Riverhounds Academy because I've noticed a lot of very talented players, including yourself, come from the Riverhounds Academy in one way, shape, or form. I mean, what is it and what is so unique about the program and the organization that you feel has helped prepare players like yourself to play at a high level?
So I think that Riverhounds is a very professional environment. We have great coaches, like all the practices are so competitive. And I just feel like it really helps to push you as an individual and also as a team together because it just really prepares you for the next level of like between the speed of play, the expectations that are expected from you. It's a really great environment to be in. And I feel very grateful to be a part of it.
Well, I know you have probably a lot of competitive practices with your Greater Latrobe team as well. I mean, you guys again are just covered with Division I talent everywhere. How much do you feel that those practices you guys go through with one another help prepare you guys for not just the high school season, but also getting ready to play at the college level? Because let's face it, you guys will be going up against multiple different players of that caliber. So how much do you think that has gotten you guys prepared for the here and now, but also the future?
Definitely quite a bit, like you said, with having as much talent as we do on our team. I think that it's great to get with a different group of girls than you play with all year with your club team because going against different players obviously requires different tactics and skill sets from you. So I think it just really helps us to learn how to adapt.
Yeah, it's all about adapting. It's all about kind of improvising on the fly in sports. I've definitely noticed that. But want to get into this year a little bit more. I know you guys had a really strong season, another double-digit win season, fell in the quarterfinals in the WPIAL playoffs. What was kind of the biggest takeaway you guys had from this season overall?
So we really, like I said, struggled with roster numbers this season. We only had 4 or 5 subs. So I think that we really banded together as a team and showed ourselves like we are up there with some of the best teams in the WPIAL. And that was just really exciting for us to like, obviously we've had some success in past seasons, but this year with the roster numbers, we weren't really so sure, but we always had that deep set confidence. So it was just really nice to see it pay off.
Now, sticking with the roster size, I'm curious, what were practices like for you guys? I mean, I'm sure that was probably a little interesting trying to get, an even number of players on both sides.
Yeah, it was tough. We had to play a lot of small-sided games because we didn't have enough to play 11v11. So we just focused a lot on like smaller technical games and possession games, and then translated that into like small field games where we could kind of apply those tactics a little bit more.
Well, I think another thing with that, the smaller roster numbers, is a lot of the underclassmen that are also very talented. They get a lot of exposure at a high level of high school soccer. How much do you think that's helped them out and will continue to help them in their development moving forward?
They absolutely are getting a lot of exposure. And I think that's what's also good about having low roster sizes is everybody is getting so many touches on the ball when they're there and definitely improving a lot because they're just getting more and more comfortable on the ball and more comfortable with their teammates. And that's really important.
Well, I know that you guys are in your off season right now. So what's kind of the routine for you right now individually, but then also as you get a little bit closer to the club season?
Right now, we don't really have a ton going on, but over the winter and then once it gets warm again, we'll have pickup sessions where it's just whoever can be there shows up and then we just play. It might be a 3v3 game, 4v4 game, and then we'll have liftings and then our preseason won't really start until July.
Well, definitely a lot of soccer ahead of you. I know you probably are enjoying some of the off time, but obviously very exciting time for you also committing, Ava. But before we get you out of here, I want to hear from you. Again, this is a very talented team, kind of been knocking at the door over the last few years. What do you think next year's team will be capable of accomplishing when the season rolls around? And how do you feel you guys can improve upon this year going into next year?
So I think that we're obviously taking a big hit losing our senior class with obviously our goalkeeper, Corinne Brunetto, my other center back, Ava Lorenzi, and then obviously Reagan and Ella and Hannah. So that's going to be a big loss for us. But we have some good 8th graders coming in and a lot of underclassmen that are going to have to step into some bigger roles for us. And I just think that maybe a few things that we could improve on were like, we always try to work on being more clinical in front of the net and on set pieces and everything. So I think that's something that we definitely have the potential to continue to improve on.
Well, definitely a lot of exciting things on the horizon for Greater Latrobe Soccer and yourself as well. Again, Ava, thanks so much for joining us today. And again, congratulations on the commitment.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
That's Youngstown State women's soccer commit Ava Yurko. As always, thanks so much for joining us for another Recruiting Thursday brought to you by Sendell Volkswagen in Greensburg. We would love to meet you. Make sure you check out our other Recruiting Thursday features that are available on our YouTube channel. And as always, this is Jack Ridenour signing off, not saying a goodbye, just a see you later, right here and only on the Westmoreland Sports Network.